She actually doesn't want you to change so you can get her back. She broke up with you 2 years ago, yesterday, last week, or you're afraid she's going to break up with you. In her deepest heart's desire, even if she hasn't said it, can't say it, has been hurt, has been angry, a woman who's even opened part of the book and explored herself as who she really is, she wants you to be good for you. First and foremost. And this is where we get it wrong of guys. It's like, all right, I messed up this relationship. What do I got to do to get her back? Or I hope I'm not anxious in the next one. Ask me how I know. I've done this shit quite a few times. I've gotten much better, but I've had my mistakes when I just didn't know any better. I know much better now. A relationship is the ultimate mirror. It can show us all the things we want to see, all the things we don't want to see. But truthfully, what she wants is she wants you to be honoring you and to follow whatever direction, whatever purpose you have. And a deeper part of her knows that if she's your number one priority, and if you're focusing all that energy, all that giving on her, it's too much. And it ends up coming, whether she'll say it or not, seeming needy and weak. Because then she knows the relationship dynamic is vulnerable because your life is her. She could be the most important thing in your, she could be the most important person in your life, but not the most important thing. Most important person other than yourself. When we're able to take care of ourselves, whether it's we had a breakup, we think we're gonna have a breakup, we don't wanna make mistakes like we did in the last breakup. It's about giving to ourselves and taking care of ourselves first so we have a different place to give from. I was just talking to a client I've been working with the last couple of months. He's near 60. I have not talked with his wife. And without talking to her, I can sense that she wants him to kind of not get her back in a way. Not exactly that, but she wants him to be good with him for him. And if the relationship comes back in, great. But if it's he's going to become good with himself or have that appearance, or he's going to become good with himself or it seems that way so he can get her back. So essentially, what is that said differently? That's being a people pleaser and using the vehicle of self-development to be the bridge to get there. That ultimately won't work even if a couple gets back together for months or years. A woman who's a spiritually evolved woman wants to see you win as much as it'll hurt her, even if she knows it's not with her, even if your relationship's gonna end. Because if a guy doesn't know where he's going, if he doesn't have a sense of direction, she can't feel safe. And that's not a rational thing where us as guys get it confused as of like, does that mean she like physically doesn't feel safe in the room with me? It's like, no, she doesn't emotionally feel safe with you. That you really know who you are and you know where you're going. Again, no judgment, no criticism. Ask me how I know. I've done it before myself. Yeah, and she wants to experience the fullness of you, honoring you. It's a different... The male and the female body, our physiology reflects how we are in our mind, emotions, and energy. A guy who knows where he is, knows where he's going, knows what he's pursuing, is strong, is literally like an erection. I don't mean that in a crude way, but he is erect into life, present in life, penetrating life. There's not a receiver energy in the male anatomy. Men can be receivers of many things, but in our anatomy, nope, there's not. Well, maybe in a gay relationship, but In a straight relationship, no, there's not. She wants to feel that in your presence. She wants to be able to let go knowing you're doing the right thing for yourself, for the direction, for the family. And we can get it confused, and it makes a lot of sense, especially depending on when we grew up as guys. I'm 40, so I was born in 85. If we grew up, depending on the 70s, 80s, 90s, we can unconsciously we're in a different generation where we've had more programmation to please women. I went to Catholic grade school. Between kindergarten and 8th grade, we had, 18 teachers, 17 of them were female. My dad was not around much. Did the best he could. A lot of messy stuff. Drug addiction, cheating, booze, all kinds of stuff. So I was around my mom and a bunch of female teachers. I had to learn how to navigate unconsciously as a little kid women's emotions in a different way, which gave me enormous strength, gave me enormous vulnerability too. I tell that because it might be something similar to you, except now you're 30-something, 40-something, 50-something, and we're not aware of this scared side of us, this scared part of us that's navigating relationships. And we can try to rationalize what we're feeling, or oftentimes for the guys I work with, it shows up as anxiety. Even if they don't feel they're anxious, maybe they show up anxious in a relationship, or they want to make more money, so they're anxious in getting the numbers on the board. And we're not aware of it. It shows up in something that we got good at managing women's emotions when we were a little kid. And now it's showing up in our intimate relationship. And it's not working so well in many ways. On the one hand, it's a superpower because we can understand women's sensitivities a bit better. And the fact that that door is there and open, if you choose to go into that and master that, which is way easier than you think as a man. It's just most men don't know where to look. You can navigate a relationship very differently. However, if we're too sensitive and we have this kind of young inner 7-year-old, 5-year-old people pleaser in the background, we can try to overly accommodate our girlfriend or wife's emotions, and then we lose ourselves. And when we lose ourselves, that means we probably weren't totally honest or transparent or communicating things. So we actually feel a much bigger disconnection. And what we really end up feeling, which kills relationships, male or female, because of that disconnection, because of those things we didn't want to say, we end up resenting our partner. And if we're really honest with ourselves, which can be rough, we're actually resenting ourselves for what we knew we shouldn't say, but we don't know why we don't want to say it. Or I don't want to upset her, or man, women are confusing, or how do they feel so many things? Why are they so different all the time? They're not men. They're the moon. The moon is constantly changing. We are the sun. The sun is more or less always the same. 6 o'clock, it's the same. I live near the equator. Sun sets at 6 or 6:30. For the whole year, that's it. The moon still has a 28-day cycle. Constant change. If you're someone who's committed to not making the same mistake that you've made in past relationships, whether you're in that relationship or you're going to be in a new one now, it's imperative that whatever you're doing in your life, and I believe actually testosterone will reflect this. That's Phil science, by the way. I don't have blood tests yet to show this. But when you're choosing yourself first, your body, your neurology, your ability to produce even more healthy hormones responds. It goes like this is fucking right. And that's incredibly attractive in women, and women can feel safe because they know, hey, I want to be really important, but I'm not like the sole priority. That can feel overwhelming, and it can actually paradoxically feel so much and you're giving so much that it's actually not paradoxically, because it kind of makes sense if you're able to step away from it a bit, but it actually ends up being needy. And something that was on the surface feeling safe from a woman's perspective has now become too much, where it's needy, or now it feels unsafe. She wants you to choose you first and go all in on that. And from that place, you choose her or you choose whoever the next woman is. That will be the greatest gift you can give yourself and the greatest gift you can give her. Go do it for 90 days, see what happens. Thanks for tuning in. See you soon.